Preparing for a referendum that could result in the world's newest country, the north and south of Sudan now have a framework for some thorny issues. As millions of South Sudanese begin registering for their long-awaited independence referendum scheduled early next year, what are the chances of concluding a peaceful poll and honouring its result?
The divorce of Sudan. Sudan is an ethnically divided country. There are Arab Muslims in the north and African Christians in the south. The Southerners have been oppressed and mistreated by the government, who also wanted an Islamic state. Currently, the Southern people are ready to vote for their independence and finally be freed from the racism. In 1956, Sudan gained their independence from the Anglo-Egyptians. Egypt ruled the north and Britain ruled the south. However, a year before they left, a civil war broke out. Politically, the Arab North controlled the government in Khartoum. Their belief of Sharia, which incorporated religion into laws, was the reason for the country to feel divided. By 1960, 500,000 soldiers died from the conflict alone. Rebel groups such as the Sudanese People Liberation Army fought back, but they only made up 1,500 men, while the government held 12,000 troops. Unresolved tensions did not seem to settle down after the results. The fight over oil could be a possible breaking point. The South produced 80% of the oil, while the North took 50% of the revenue. The two regions would have to negotiate for a fair and equal ratio of labor to oil revenue. However, many people have doubted the South for possibly wanting to take oil rights. President Bashir said if the South tried to take Abyei, a region rich of oil, for itself, there could be another war. Already 30 people have died from this conflict.
Both governments are dependent on oil revenue, particularly the government in southern Sudan. And so they're interdependent. One has most of the oil and controls the land. The other has the processing facilities and can market it and get it to market.
Also, President Bashir said that he had come to terms with the split. However, he would make Islam the official religion and Arabic the official language. It seemed that he was trying to hinder the South from flourishing. The South was not economically ready to sustain itself. The plan for Sudan South was too elaborate for their annual revenue. Their plan was to recreate the city in the shape of animals and fruits. They should have been focusing on the border, or the oil, or the ties with their new neighbors.
The principle is that people are recognizing the reality of the situation. It is going to happen, and they somehow have to make it work.
Sudan South was planning for a failed government and economy. They wanted to create a less corrupt and more equal government than Khartoum. However, less than 5% of people used improved water in the south, while more than 50% used improved water in the north. The government could not function without even the most basic necessity. The people of southern Sudan believed that the war needed to end to free up money for basic infrastructure. However, their budget was $1.9 billion, which included the fund for war efforts. The South needed $6 billion to pave 8,000 miles of roads for basic trade and a working economy. The split will economically and politically hurt southern Sudan. The country as a whole was economically poor, as it was the 154th out of 169 most developed countries, according to the UN. Khartoum, located in the north, was one of the wealthiest areas in Sudan. The international community praised Sudan's peaceful agreements, but their intentions seemed self-serving. Pierre Mungbo thought, fighting for the global leadership, the Americans want to take control of Sudanese oil away from China, an emerging and powerful country that nurtures an excellent relationship with the regime of al-Bashir. The 21st century could present yet another wave of colonization due to the vulnerability of the newly formed countries.